Hey everybody, Brian Lahr, One Life Financial Group. If this is your first time visiting the website or the channel, welcome to our Money Marathon video today. And if you've watched our videos before, you know that I use some running stories and analogies to teach investors how to get more potential mileage out of their money. So today we are looking at 5 critical steps that could help you run your best money marathon. And before we get started, let's just go through some terminology. You probably know what a marathon is. It's an event. It's a 26.2 mile foot race. There are 26.2 checkpoints that runners cross before hitting that grueling 26.2 mile finish line. And a money marathon is very similar to a marathon. It's a long event. In fact, it goes over the course of your entire life. And the goal of your money marathon is to secure your future and live your best life without having to worry about crashing or running out of money before the finish line or you enter through those pearly gates. So unlike a marathon, we don't know how long that race will be, but there should be some great checkpoints that hopefully you're looking forward to crossing along the way. Over the last 2 decades in the wealth management business, I've learned that investors have similar goals to marathon runners. Most marathon runners want to either maximize their results on race day and run to their fullest potential. Maybe they want to qualify for the Boston Marathon, the Olympic trials. Many want to raise awareness or funds for a certain cause. Some just want to finish and prove something to themselves. And just finishing that grueling 26.2 miles is a feat in itself because only 0.01% of the world's population has finished a marathon. Marathon runners, like investors, they want to be prepared, they want to be confident, and they want to maximize their results. Marathon runners want to run as hard as they can without crashing before crossing the finish line. So there's a tricky balance. And investors I have seen over the last 2 decades in my wealth management career are so similar. They want to maximize their results. They want to live their best life without fear of running out of money. They want to use their wealth and their money as a tool to live their best life. And marathon runners have different goals. Investors do too. So some prioritize living a certain lifestyle, giving to charities, leaving a legacy to family, maybe children or grandchildren. I have not yet met one investor who wanted to crash financially and run out of money for retirement. And I'm laughing because I'm thinking about this guy who was pretty close. He actually said, you know what, Lahr, I want to spend the last dollar the day that I die and bounce my last check payable to Uncle Sam. So he was a unique guy, but I thought that was worthy of sharing. So today what we're going to do is we're going to explore 5 steps that successful runners use to maximize their running results and how you can use those same 5 steps in effort to maximize your wealth and live your best life without worrying about running out of money. A quick story on running before we get to maximizing your wealth. I know that these 5 steps, they work. And I know this because I was nowhere near an endurance athlete at any point in my life. Sure, I had done some shorter distance stuff in high school. I literally didn't run from 2005 to 2022 because doctors told me to never run again. I had 3 knee surgeries. I was overweight, and they told me I couldn't run. So I'm a husband, I'm a father of 7, I'm an average guy who fell in love with running in his 40s. I know these 5 steps work. And I know that for marathon runners, I know that because I used them to run a 3-hour and 22-minute marathon up at Grandma's Marathon in Duluth last year after literally less than 6 months of running on the roads. And I kept using those 5 steps while I trained for the Kiowa Island Marathon down in Charleston, and I took 15 minutes off my time over the course of 6 months, and I was training injured and literally sick the week leading up to the race. So I know those 5 steps work, and I know that I wouldn't have received those results if I would have skipped any of those steps. Just for reference, that's a 7% improvement over 6 months. And while I can't guarantee any wealth management results in my industry, just imagine what it would be like if you could lower your tax bill by 7%, if you could increase your income or your investment returns by 7% or even 0.7%. How much could your life change or someone else's life change if you could do something like that? So again, I can't guarantee results, but I fully believe that if you proactively implement the steps that we're going to walk through next, that you could uncover some big ways to potentially maximize your wealth. And I do believe that if you skip those steps, that it could potentially cost you big time. And I know that because over the last 20 years, I've seen so many successful investors use those steps to get to where they are. And I've seen a lot of people, when I ask what's their 1 or 2 money regrets, they've literally pointed to one of those 5 steps. So let's get started. So let's jump into that simple 5-step process that marathon runners have used and that you could use to work towards maximizing your wealth so that you can make the most of your one life, pun intended. Step number 1, have a value-centered vision. Okay, so when running, it's critical to know your why. Maybe it's to prove something to yourself, to inspire others, to raise money for a cause, and that can really push you through when the going gets tough. When managing your wealth, having a value-centered vision is key. Your core values can help you really determine and define meaningful financial life goals and a vision for living your best life. If you skip this step, if you don't know what your core values are, if you don't have a vision, if you don't have meaningful goals in your plan, it can be a big mistake, because if your goals in your plan aren't accurate, all of your tax projections, all of your retirement projections will not be accurate, which that could be just a recipe for disaster, for financial stress when making decisions. And when you do know what your values are, when the goals in your plan are meaningful to you, it can give you that extra motivation to schedule your tax planning meeting, to schedule your annual review with your advisor, to get on the same page with a loved one, a child, a partner, a spouse, and just to do the work to make sure that your plan, your goals are aligned with what matters to you, your values. So step number 1, have a value-centered vision. Step number 2, customize your plan. Now, outside of Forrest Gump, I don't know of one marathon runner who runs their best race without a plan. He just got up and started running one day. But runners who have the best chance at maximizing their results, they customize a plan that can help maximize their results without potential risk of injury. Running a marathon without a plan and making decisions about your wealth without any plan is literally like building a house without a blueprint, right? It would be terribly inefficient. So your marathon plan should entail a mileage that's tailored to your abilities, the time you have to train, how you recover. The best runners plan for more than just how many miles they're going to run, right? They look at recovery, which might include massage and ice bath and cross training. They might do strength training and pay attention to their fueling needs. Some of my favorite runners, Eliud Kipchoge, Kara Goucher, Ryan Hall, Roberta Gibb, who snuck into the Boston Marathon when women weren't permitted to run, and Kelvin Kiptum, who unfortunately just passed away at a young age. They had fueling plans. Do you think any of them woke up on race day without a hydration plan and started drinking Coke or Bud Light or eggnog? No way, right? They were well hydrated, well fueled going into their race. The elite runners today have specially calibrated drinks that are customized to their bodies and their needs throughout the entire race. They know what they're eating, when they're eating, and I could go on and on about how marathon runners customize their plans. So let's talk about, what does this have to do with money? Quite a bit. Running your best money marathon requires a plan that, like a marathon, it's customized to your needs, the vision you have for living your best life. It's customized to your tax bracket, how much you've saved, how much you're saving, how much you're spending if you're in retirement or distribution mode, your risk tolerance. And then it's customized to the rate of return you need to earn so that you don't run out of money. I don't see many people get wealthy and stay there by chance. Sure, some get lucky or receive a windfall because their family did a lot of planning. The vast majority of successful clients I've worked with over the last 20 years, they have a customized plan, just like runners. They have a tax or fueling income strategy to minimize their tax bill. It's designed to do that. And without it, it can be so difficult to make decisions without clarity and confidence. Why is that? It's because people without a plan, they can't see their probability of success, which can make them worry about the future. So that's step 2, customize your plan. Step 3, do the work. So as you know, successful runners don't just plan like we talked about in step 2, which is critical. They actually do the work, they schedule it in, and they follow their plan. Training for a marathon is a lot of time. The good news is managing your wealth is typically less time. So many runners will put in 200 hours or more for a 26.2 mile race. They put time in the calendar, they set their alarm clocks, they block off time in the afternoon to get their work done. I mean, after all, a plan without action, without doing the work, is just a dream. If someone has 16 weeks to prepare for a marathon and has the perfect plan, but they never lace up the shoes, they never do the work, they will not maximize their results. And I've seen some similar mistakes with investors who have actually created financial plans. They've hired us to do planning, and we've had strategies to minimize their tax bill, to update their estate plan, and they just never did the work for whatever reason. Okay, so how does this apply to running your best money marathon? It's really no different. You got to do the work. So you got to keep your plan up to date. If you don't know how to do that, have a team or an accountant who is regularly running tax projections to analyze those opportunities to minimize your tax bill. Successful investors meet with their planners and their accountants to try on goals and situations that could impact their plan, to proactively explore how could they protect their wealth and ensure they have adequate tax minimization strategies. They have adequate insurance to protect them and their loved ones, but not too much where they're paying more than they need to pay. They have effective education strategies to maximize Social Security and take income from their accounts in a tax efficient manner. So they do the work, they show up, they have those meetings, and then they do the maintenance, or they outsource it to somebody like me. So it might not be 200 hours over 20 weeks to effectively manage your wealth, but what if you had a system that helped you assess your progress and proactively work through wealth maintenance in just 26 minutes per month? That boils down to under 7 minutes a week. Would you be willing to do that work so that you could potentially maximize your wealth and live your best life without worrying about your money? Well, at One Life Financial Group, we have a proactive wealth maintenance calendar. You can see it here on the screen or click on the link in the notes to see how we are helping clients proactively do the maintenance, to do the work throughout the year. And the goal there is so they don't have to, so you don't have to worry about missing potential opportunities. So that's step number 3, show up and do the work. Step number 4 is proactively assess and adjust your strategy. So we'll talk running and then money. Successful marathon runners are proactively assessing and adjusting really everything based on their workout, how they're feeling, how they're recovering, so that they can run their best race. So successful runners and competitive runners, they look at their perceived effort. They address injuries after a training session. If somebody gets hurt, they tweak their plan, they assess it. And that's what happened to me when training for my second marathon. My online coach actually had me jump in the pool, and he said, get off the road, but keep your body moving and recover. So I had an aqua belt on, and I literally run in the pool. It was a little weird. And that allowed my hip to recover. It actually gave me more resistance running in the water, and it strengthened me where I wasn't strong. I was given specific stretches to help recover. And despite doing less mileage in preparation for that second marathon, I ran a better time, and I ran a better time sick because my coach helped me assess and adjust my strategy. So let's talk about money now. I don't believe successful investors are really any different. And I might actually get a little bit heated on this topic because I've seen too many people I care about, friends, family, clients, who lost a lot of opportunity because they weren't proactive. They neglected to manage their accounts, to watch their accounts, to do the research on their investments, and to do the maintenance. That really could matter. That could protect their wealth. That could minimize their tax bill. And they missed it. It is so important that you proactively assess and adjust your wealth management strategies, your tax strategies, because your situation can change. Your financial circumstances, your tax bracket, the market, your goals can change. And just like runners adjust their strategies, investors should too. when they have changes in their strategy, their goals, their situation. It's critical to assess stress tests while running to figure out how fast can you run and know your paces so you don't burn out in a race. And similarly, it's so important to stress test your financial plan and assess your plan's probability of success using your current investment strategy, historical returns, to ask, what is my probability of success? If you're at an 80% or an 85% probability of success in your financial plan or higher, I hope you feel great. I hope you sleep very well at night. If you do a stress test and your plan is 50% or 40%, it doesn't mean your plan won't work, but it does mean that you might benefit from assessing and adjusting your strategies to see if you can get your confidence up so that you don't have to worry about the future if taxes rise or if the market tanks. And that's what proactively assessing and adjusting your plan can do. It can give you more confidence in your future. So we are now through the fourth step, which is proactively assess and adjust. All right. Step number 5 is get the right team in your corner. Marathon runners get the support they need to run their best race. This is often a coach, a spouse, a partner, someone to train with, friends who can help hold you accountable and cheer you on. And that level of support is unique to each runner. I can tell you without the support that I had running, I wouldn't have done what I did. I probably wouldn't have finished that second race while running sick, but they powered me through. The people watching online powered me through that. And with successful investors, it's very similar, right? If you don't know how to do something, if you don't have the time for it, if you lack the motivation to just move forward, to get things done, if they've been on the to-do list forever, that might be a great time to get the right team in your corner, which is step 5, and outsource what you don't have time for so that you have more time for what matters to you. There are many reasons that people delay talking about their wealth, create a plan for retirement, or strategizing to figure out if they're missing an opportunity. Sometimes it's a stressor. Sometimes somebody's parents never talked about money, and so it's not easy to get started. Or sometimes people are embarrassed about their position. They think they should be further ahead. Well, here's the deal. The most important part of wealth management and working to secure your future is getting started, I believe, with those 5 steps in that order. So to recap, number 1, create a value-centered vision. Number 2, customize your plan. Number 3, work your plan. Show up and do the work. Number 4, assess and adjust proactively. And number 5, if you need help getting started, or if you're not sure how to do something, or you need a second opinion, get the right team in your corner. If you're looking for a team, if you're interviewing advisors, click Get Started. And check out our video next week where we will dive specifically more into 3 risks of running a money marathon without any support. It was great being with you today. Like and subscribe. We'll see you soon.